Welcome everybody, I'm Werewolfen, and this is Game of Home server, and this is the second edition of my how-to series, things you need to do when you first get started. In our last episode, we showed you how to make the ever-important stone axe, which will help you get all the things you need to make. In this episode, we're going to show you how to make a forge and how to get started with making your own supply of bottled water so that you don't die of thirst. So, first thing you're going to need is you're going to need some stone, small stones, which can either be gotten from converting stone from mining into small stones or by picking up the small stones that are around the world. I've picked up 8 of them already. The second thing you're going to need is you're going to need a short iron pipe. Early on, these can be found by either using your stone axe to break a toilet or found in any sink. You may have to search multiple sinks to find one, but you can find them. Occasionally, you can also find them in air conditioners. The other option is if somebody's kind enough to give you some iron, you can convert iron into forged iron, and then you can convert the forged iron into short iron pipes. Now, to make your forge, you take let's go over here. You go to forging and molds, and you'll have the forge, which you arrange your stones in this U-shaped pattern with your short iron pipe off to the side, and hit craft, and it will make a forge. I stopped that because I've already got a couple made. Once you make that, in your searches, you're also going to want to look for an empty jar. Not sure if I have it made. Okay. You'll also need some clay, which can be found by digging dirt in a world, which will give you this bulk clay, which you put in your grafted grid and it makes lumps of clay. The lumped clay is then put in a U, like so, and then in the center block right here, you put your empty jar, and that will give you the jar mold. Now you place your forge in the world, wherever you want to do it, and you put your jar mold in there. Then you find you some sand. Sand can be found along rivers, as you see I'm next door over here. It can also be found around the edges of lakes and down here in the desert. The entire surface of the desert is sand, and then underneath that is sandstone. Both will work for this purpose. You can, as you see here, I've got some sandstone and some sand. Either one can be turned into crushed sand. And then you take your crushed sand and you put it in your furnace with a little bit of fuel. Sometimes it takes a second. There we go. And as you see, it starts cooking up and it makes you glass jars. I'm going to make up a bit of this and I will be right back. Okay, now that we've let our forge run for a little while, we'll get us out a stack of glass bottles. Place them on your tool belt, select them, and right-click on a water source. Now you see we have bottled murky water. You're going to want to take this, place it in your campfire, like so. Put in some fuel and hit cook. As you notice, our burn time and the time required, we're going to need a little bit more fuel in there. Make sure that our burn time cooks all our bottles and converts them into bottled water. While we're on this subject, we'll talk about some of the other things you can do with the Ford. Basically, you can convert most metals into ingots, as well as stone into cement. You got various molds you can make. You've got the cement mold, you've got the iron ingot mold, brass mold, lead mold, and the tungsten mold. Good luck on finding that one. Not too many find it too often. But basically you use your lumps of clay and put it in the pattern it shows. Makes the various molds. Put the mold in place of the, over here where the jar mold is. Put in your corresponding metal. Put in some fuel and it will convert your material over. Also, you have the campfire, which we're using to turn our jars into from murky water into regular bottled water. With all that takes is you take 8 small stones and put them in a circle like so. Hit craft and it makes a camp. As for the cookware, which is the cooking pot, that can either be crafted from iron. You take iron ingots, turn it into some forged iron. Takes 5 forged iron to make a pot. You can also find pots at some of the campsites in the world, as well as in some of the ovens and various other places in buildings. But you'll need one of those to go with your campfire. In a later episode, we'll show you some other uses for the pot and water to make food other than the canned foods that you'll find in the world. And as you see, after it's had time to cook, we've got bottled water. And basically you can make all the bottled water you're ever going to need to drink so that you don't have to drink out of the river. And that completes our second how-to on how to make water. Have a good day.